Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here, bringing you another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Sunday. And today I want to go over how to troubleshoot Office products because people are asking me about it. So obviously, if you're new to my channel, you know what to do. Rate, comment, subscribe, hit thumbs up. Greatly appreciate it. So today I want to go over like a basic video on how to troubleshoot Outlook, Word, Excel products, and how do you talk about it in a job interview? Because people tell me that, Kev, I get asked how to open up Excel. I get asked, how do you troubleshoot Word? I get asked, what if I can't open Outlook, blah, blah, blah. So today I want to go over that real quick. And I want to go over how you troubleshoot it in a work environment, how to answer that question. Okay. So let me share my screen with you and show you what I mean. So the first one we're going to go over is Outlook. So Outlook has add-ins on it. So you'll see in a job environment, whether you work for a hedge fund, you work for a business company, where there's a law firm, or it's a school environment, whatever you go to, they may have an add-in on Outlook, which an add-in basically means it's a plugin or it's an application that you install on the computer, which actually hooks itself over to Outlook, if that makes sense. So what do I mean by that? So an example of that would be Zoom add-in plugin. So if I go into control panel right here real quick, right? The add-in is right there. So you have a plugin or an add-in called Zoom that actually adds itself on Outlook. And sometimes what happens is that gets corrupted. That doesn't show up for some reason on Outlook. You'll get a call like, Kev, I was using Outlook like 2 seconds ago and my Outlook crashed. Now I don't see my Zoom ad, and what happened to it? Did it remove itself, or what happened? So you get calls like that, or you get calls like, I can't open Outlook. It keeps telling me to open it in safe mode. So not to make an in-depth video today of Outlook, we're gonna go like basic stuff. So what happens is you open up Outlook. I'm going to open it up like hypothetically, just going to go over it, right? You have your add-in right here on the top, which is schedule meetings and start instant meetings. So what happens is someone tries to make a meeting in here. Sometimes the add-in is not there. If you want to troubleshoot it, you typically go to File, you go to Options, you go to Add-ins, you go to Com Add-ins, and it's right here. Sometimes what happens is if it closes accidentally and it crashes accidentally, it's because Outlook crashed because they went like the profile has having issues, something is having issues, maybe the network is having issues. Could be so many reasons why Outlook crashes, but you go in here and you just go in and you could go and uncheck it and recheck it, and then the add-in will just show up again. So that's how you troubleshoot that issue. And for the dear life of you, you do that and it doesn't want to work, you do it again, it doesn't want to work, you do it again, it doesn't want to work. You could go and you control panel right over here, right? You go in here. You could run a repair on it if you want. For me, I find that repair never works. I'm just going based on my experience. So what I do is I just uninstall the whole thing. All right. Yes. Go back to Outlook. And it should be completely gone 100%. Now it's not there anymore. Yep. And then I just go to I go to the website, and I literally go to the website and I just re-download it again. So I have it right here. So I'm just installing it again. Right. To get that add-in, you go into Google. You go in here. You type Zoom download, right? It's the first one. And you download that. That's what I downloaded, all right? Just so you guys are aware. And I installed it, and let's see here. It should be back in here. So just give that a second. Now it's back here. Now, if Outlook just keeps crashing over and over again, it's probably because of the add-in. How do you figure that out? How do you troubleshoot that, right? So you want to do is you want to open Outlook in safe mode. So what Outlook in safe mode means, it opens it up with 0 add-ins. You know how I had that Zoom add-in? It will get rid of that add-in and it will just open up like with bare bones, basically. Think of it as bare bones, where there's absolutely no add-ins on it at all. And that basically will tell you if it's corrupted or not corrupted, because sometimes what happens is an add-in probably got corrupted. So you may have to go and reinstall it again. So how to open it in safe mode, right? So you go in here, you type run, and you do outlook.exe/safe, and you hit OK, and then it should open in safe mode. And when it does is it gets rid of the add-in, which the add-in is completely gone right here now. So if you go to a job interview and they ask you, how do you troubleshoot Outlook? Outlook doesn't want to open. You tell them, oh, I would open it up in safe mode, and I would check to see if one of the add-ins maybe got corrupted. Maybe I have to reinstall the adding. Maybe his or her Outlook profile got corrupted. maybe we have to delete their profile and reinstall it again or set it up again. So how do you do that? You actually go into your start menu, you go into control panel, you go in here, change it to large categories, you hit mail, right? You hit show profile, and you make a brand new one, we'll call it test, right? And you put your information in there, and that's it. And then you make a brand new profile, and then you do open with that profile, and that's it. So that's one way of doing it. The other way to do it is if you go into this file path directory, I'll show you where to go. You go into file, you go to accounts, you go to account settings, you go to data files, you do open file location. It would actually take you to where that location is at. So this is the file location. And if I go here and close out of this, right? It's right here. And if I delete these two things right here, it will actually, it should actually let me delete it. And for some reason, it's not letting me delete it. So we'll try that again. It says it doesn't open because OneNote is open. So I have to share OneNote. Let me close out of that. Try again. There we go. Should work now. Let's see here. For some reason, something's OneNote is open. It is open. Close out of that. Try again. There we go. All right, good. So, open Outlook, and it should make a brand new profile, which is actually doing. If you saw that, like it's re-downloading everything again. I try to stay away from this because I don't want to delete someone's profile completely, because what happens is when you do that, depending on how they're set up, they may lose their preferences on Outlook. So they'll be like, oh, my view settings are all messed up. I used to have this. I used to have my emails on the bottom. I had it now I have it on the left. Now I have it on the right. Now it looks like this. I used to not have it like this. Now I have to go and change it and put it on the bottom. It changes all their preferences. It changes even if they have rules and stuff like that. It may mess with that. So you got to be careful with deleting someone's profile, because sometimes that does get messed up. And when you do delete that, it actually deletes their preferences on Outlook. But Outlook has gotten a lot better over the years. So if they're connected to a server, it may save your preferences, it may not. So it's gotten better over the years. So anyway, so that's how you troubleshoot Outlook. So hopefully that helps you out. So if you go to a job interview, and I'll show you real quick how to get to that path directory. Not that one, sorry about that. How to get to this path directory. The Outlook path directory, go to users. You go to Kevin, and you can't see it here. And that's because it's a hidden file. So if you go to options, and if you do view, right? And if you do show hidden folders and files, you click that, it's going to add all these other files now, right there, right? App data, and you do local, you do Microsoft, and you go into Outlook, and it's right there. So that's how you get into it. Obviously, there's several ways to get into this path directory. One is the way I showed you on Outlook. 2 is this way. And then 3 is if you go into run, and if you do %temp% and you okay, and you go in here and do local, you do Microsoft, and you do Outlook. I was going to say Office. Outlook is right there. So obviously, if you want to get rid of this, you do view, do options, do view, turn that off, hit apply, hit OK, and it should get rid of it. Just give me a second. Show, apply. There we go. All right, now it's gone. All right, so that's how you troubleshoot Outlook. That's how I got like a little basic tutorial on a troubleshoot Outlook. Now let's talk about Excel, because Excel is like it's like a monster in itself, right? But I want to go over basic stuff. So the first thing you do if you're troubleshooting in Excel, you want to make sure the add-in is not corrupted. How do you do that? You open Excel in safe mode. So there's several ways to do that. So if you do run, right, and if you do Excel .exe/safe, it will actually opening in safe mode. And if you see on the top right hand side of here, like top on the left over here, it says it's opening in safe mode. So basically what that means is it got rid of the add-ins that are on Excel. So this particular Excel today, because people are asking me about Excel, I downloaded an Excel add-in actually. So if you go in here, and let me see if it's available, because I think I removed it. But if you go into options, you go into add-ins, right? You go to com add-ins, Excel is right there. So I'm gonna hit OK, right? And I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna hit options again. And I'm gonna go to com add-ins. See, this one's installed in 2 places. And if you go to Bloomberg, it's right there. So if you go and do file and do new blank work document, it's right there. So Bloomberg is a trading application for Excel. So basically what happens is the user will open up Bloomberg terminal, which is right here. And basically the reports get run and they get imported to Excel. So you'll find issues where someone cannot do anything on Excel for their add-in because the add-in got corrupted. The add-in may need to be reinstalled, or sometimes what happens is maybe Office Suite got corrupted. It could happen with Excel. Sometimes that does happen, unfortunately. So to troubleshoot the add-ins like this one, like Bloomberg add-in, I like this one because it has like its own API diagnostic tool, which is right here. And if you do start, and typically what we do is we don't do it in standard user mode for Bloomberg because some people wanted me to make a video on Bloomberg applications how to troubleshoot it, right? You right click on it and you go to more and you do open file location, right? And then you do run as, and you do run as your admin credentials. For me, I'm just going to do run as admin because I already have admin rights to this computer. I'm hit yes. Now it says local administrator on the top, right? So then I hit start, I hit yes, and it's gonna run a check on it. Then it's gonna run a repair on it. Just give that a second. And you're gonna ask me like, Kev, what is this? What is this actually doing? So it's actually re-registering the add-in for Bloomberg on the BLP folder. So what does that mean, Kevin? I don't understand what that means. So if you go into your C drive, and if you go, I'm gonna move this to the left, and if you go to this PC, local PC, BLP folder, this is a Bloomberg folder that gets added for Excel add-ins. You go here, you go to API, you go to Office Tools. So all the add-ins are actually located right here. It's actually reinstalling it or running a repair on it in this location. That's what this diagnostic tool is doing on Excel, if that makes sense. So just give that a second. So I showed you how to open it in safe mode. You can run a repair on it. You can uninstall, reinstall the add-in because the add-in probably got corrupted. So if you go to a job interview and they ask you a question about Excel and they ask you a user cannot open Excel for some reason, you want to ask them, like the first question you'll say or the first answer you say is, can they open Excel in general? Like, can you open Excel? Like, can you open Excel by itself with nothing on it? Does that open? Yes, it does. Okay, so when does it not open? Does it not open for a specific file? Does it not open at all? So you want to narrow down the conversation and figure out whether it's a specific file or it's just Excel in general. It's like messed up, right? So if it's just one specific file, you may have to go into previous versions. You may have to run a repair on it, or you may have to look for a version that is actually working, if that makes sense, of that file. So how do you troubleshoot that? So like if I go here and I make a test workbook, right, and do save as, browse, desktop, right? I'm gonna save it. So that book should be right over here. So what happens is sometimes you have a workbook where someone's complaining that their workbook used to work like 3 days ago. Now today it's not working for some reason, right? So what you could do is you go into here, you right click on it, you go to properties, you go to previous versions. They may have a version from 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Maybe that will fix the issue. Maybe it may not fix the issue. Maybe a column got corrupted. Maybe something in the file itself got corrupted. So that's one way of troubleshooting it. The other way of troubleshooting it is if you could open it, because most times there are Excel files that you can open, but if they go to a certain tab and do something, it crashes immediately, right? So what you could do as well is if you right click on it, you could actually do move and copy, and you could actually create a new workbook, right? And create a copy of it and hit OK. And it will make a copy of that workbook. Maybe this one got corrupted somehow. So, and then you could just save this one and then save it down with a different name, if that makes sense. That's how you troubleshoot that issue. Now, if it still doesn't want to open, I'm not going to save it. You go into Excel. You open up Excel, right? You go into open. You go into browse. And you go into desktop. And if you go to this book, don't double click on it. Don't double click on it, right? You go to the bottom right, you do open and repair. And if you do open and repair, you do repair, it's going to repair that book for you. So maybe something got corrupted in that book, like a color, a table, or a column. You don't know, right? So That's probably why it's not opening. So that's how you troubleshoot Excel. So this is like a basic tutorial on how to troubleshoot Excel. So if you're having issues with Excel, or if you go into a job interview, and I know this is IT support, but sometimes we do cover Excel in our jobs. We're not Excel gurus, but some of us in our jobs, we get asked about Excel questions, right? So you could open it up in safe mode. If Excel doesn't want to open up at all, you could open it up in safe mode. You could run a repair on Office Suite. Maybe it's just one particular file that it doesn't open. Maybe that's the reason why Excel doesn't open, because you want to find that out. Like, is Excel working on by itself? Like, if you open a blank workbook, does it work fine? Like, if it doesn't work, because of that specific book that they're trying to open, that book probably got corrupted. Because they're able to open any other books and it works fine. They're able to copy and paste. They're able to change colors. They're able to format. Obviously, that book probably got corrupted. So what I just showed you just now, you could run a repair on it, if that makes sense. All right. Last but not least, I want to go over Word. And to troubleshoot Word is the exact same thing. If you go into Run, and if you do win Word/safe, it would actually open up Word in safe mode. And you see it says right there on the top, it's safe mode. I'm not sure about you guys. I don't really get a lot of Word issues. I get mostly Excel issues and Outlook issues. That's just my opinion. And that's just tends to happen to me for some reason. But you go into File, you go to Options, and you go to Add-ins, and the add-ins is right here. So actually it's using Bloomberg add-in. You could go here, hit OK, and you could uncheck it and it'll get rid of it. So same thing, you uncheck, recheck. If something doesn't want to work, you may have to uncheck, recheck the add-in. If something doesn't want to work, you may have to reinstall or repair the add-in. Those are common questions you'll get asked for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. Outlook doesn't want to open for the dear life of you. Maybe the profile got corrupted and you have to delete that location where I showed you, or you may have to run into Control Panel and go into Mail and make a new profile for that user. So hopefully that makes sense. So last but not least, I want to go over OneNote. And this is the final one I'm going to go over today. And if you go over to File, this is the path directory of my book. So if you want to know how to get into the workbook that I have open right now, you go into Run and you type that in, you hit OK, you copy and paste. This is the location of it. So sometimes if you're working with a user or a client, they got a brand new computer and their old computer, they want the workbooks back. You actually go to this directory because sometimes it's locally saved on the computer. You just copy and paste, and then you could see $sign into their new computer and give it to them. Obviously, or you could just send it over to them through email or put it on OneDrive or something. I don't know whatever you guys use, just forward it over to him if that makes sense, and you could get access to these books. All right. Then the last thing I want to go over, which is I forgot about this, I want to go over this, is go into Options, right? Display, Proof, Sync, Save. So this is where it saves all your stuff right here. Look, it says right here, it saves for every 1 week. And it says the location of the cache file. So the thing is that this I used to get a ticket about this a lot every time in my job. So some people want OneNote to work together with other applications or other third-party apps, right? You actually go in here. So if you go here, it says OneNote integrates with other applications. So you do here, it says always ask where to send, current page, set default location, meeting notes as well, contact notes, task notes, web content, blah, 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 print to the OneNote, screen. So if you want to go in there and change it, you can change it here, but sometimes you'll get asked, like, for some reason, this got changed to something else and their OneNote is no longer working. It's because it needs to be changed to here again, if that makes sense. So you have audio, you have language, advanced, and then that's it. And you have your add-ins in here. So obviously, if you have any add-ins, we don't really use add-ins for OneNote. Well, in my environment, maybe someone else does, but you have add-ins for OneNote. A quick little final thing about Excel, which people want to know about, is if you go into Excel, right? It's supposed to have the option to autosave, right? So here, I'm gonna go and it's gonna open up a random workbook. It's fine. Let's do blank, right? Here has autosave right here. So if you go to info, and if you go here, you can manage a workbook. It actually goes and recovers an unsaved workbook. And it goes through this file location, right? Sometimes it may not be here. I have grabbed files from someone, right? going in here, I'm gonna show you real quick. So if you go to app data, you go to roaming, you go into Microsoft, you go into Excel. And sometimes it's the file is located over here for some reason. It saves or gets corrupted. It saves a file right over here, and then you could go and open it from here and actually grab an old file that someone had by accident that it crashed for some odd reason. You could go here and grab the file. So sometimes they may be here, sometimes they may not be here. You know, it depends on the luck of the person, because sometimes that file may go in there and it saves itself in there, if that makes sense. And what does XLL start? So this is actually your preferences on Excel. If you have a file in here, this is your preferences of Excel. Sometimes this gets corrupted, so you may have to go in here and delete this as well. And then that fixes some Excel issues. Also, if you go in here, sometimes you have a bunch of stuff in this location. You may have to delete all the stuff that's here for Excel to open up for a specific file that someone's having an issue with. Because maybe that file got corrupted and it keeps adding it here over and over again. That's just my personal experience. I'm just going based on my experience. All right. And you go in here, you go to file, and it actually tells you the saving, like how much it saves. Like it tells you like, oh, it saves it here. It's supposed to save it every 10 minutes, default location, and default SharePoint. And then that's it. I'm gonna stop sharing. That's it. That's pretty much it. Not too complicated. I'm not trying to make it complicated. I'm trying to make it a little more understandable for someone that's brand new to IT. I hope this helps you out. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. And I hope this helps you out when it comes to answering interview questions for Outlook. We went over Outlook. We went over Word. We went over Excel. And we went over OneNote. All right. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Peace. Bye.